It's tabletop time.
I am Dave.
I am Rob.
I'm Jazza.
And I am Jen.
We return
Missed
to
the memo.
the.
I was supposed to do it all wispy.
It was, it's kind of like yes and quick improv.
Yeah.
You failed.
That was,
Evidently.
good job. It's like we're throwing the ball around the table and Rob gets hit in the face.
Hot potato.
Welcome to IRONSPIRE. Can't wait to pick up where we left off.
You do inspire.
Oh, thank you.
Aw.
We inspire. But you know what else inspires? Our bloody sponsor, World Anvil.
Yay.
That was a good segue.
Light up.
I have something to say about Word Anvil right now.
Go.
Right now.
Do
I
it.
was making a map for my tabletop campaign on my tablet. And I was drawing it. And all I could think the whole time I was drawing it is, this would be so much easier if I could put the pins on all the locations and have the city names and the little blurbs and just hover the mouse over them. And I'm like, as soon as I'm done this map, I got to import it into World Anvil.
Guess what? I have a treat for you all today. I have a new map for you. So I'll introduce that later in the chapter and you'll all see it, watch those of you who watch us. But I'm very excited because I had the same impulse. It's like, you know what? We're reaching this big city we might spend a bit of time in. Let's get stuck into it unless the players decide to go in the complete opposite direction, which is entirely your prerogative. But honestly, World Anvil, like I love building a world in World Anvil, but if you're playing as well in World Anvil, I can't imagine running a campaign without World Anvil now, especially that we're up to chapter 10. I'm just like, the tools for note keeping, for session prep, for running sessions, sharing during sessions to your players, keeping loading your stat blocks, customizing your stat blocks, the list goes on. So if you're looking to world build or play in World Anvil is your place to go. So go to worldanvil.com/IRONSPIRE to get 40% off of all of their annual plans, which is their biggest discount rate. Huge thank you to World Anvil. We genuinely love you, and we know all of you listening to this and watching this are going to love it if you're looking to run your own sessions. And also you can join, you can check out our World Anvil page. Go to itstabletoptime.com/Sunder to see everything we've compiled so far, including the new map, which again I'll show you all later. But it's all here and it's really fun. Just like what Dave has pointed out about maps.
I love what you would. You're like, I got this sponsor thing. I'll handle that, and I'm just like, I'm coming in here like a truck, and I'm just like, oh, I was actually really. I spent the whole weekend thinking about bloody World Anvil.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love that the maps are one of my favorite things because it's a toy. Like you're just doing the regions and all this stuff, and you know, anyway.
Oh, it's a color coding.
I'm getting a little carried away, but yeah, like you can. There's a lot more that's not immediately in your face that you can sort of tuck into. You can choose what to show the players.
It's
very
actually
cool.
so hard to, as your campaigns sprawl, and I'm finding this is my campaign. It's so hard to manage in a reasonable way how to have all your like document cities, which characters are associated with cities. The way that you can nest information on World Anvil.
Yeah.
We love it.
Oh my god, I've never
I've got
noticed
a
how
Word
much you've written
document.
about Lilith.
Don't read things.
You've put it
Am I not
public.
supposed to?
I'm still getting used to what to share publicly.
Okay. Yeah, because I noticed you've added 2 new...
Anyway, don't look at stuff.
No looky, no touchy.
That's the thing that I'm still getting used to. This is, I'm so excited I just put everything in and forget how to hide stuff. All right, let's do this. Let's do a bit of a recap. Let's start off with Catalina this time. Do you want to take us through your experience? Because you had quite an intense one.
Yes, I did. Well, yes, Catalina did. Okay, so in our previous session, we were to meet with the child that had a supposed gift of magic, but unfortunately they were not there. And instead, the town erupted in this massive calamity of fear and terror as something massive was happening in the middle of the town. And so Catalina went to investigate, and she found that there was a man hung, and he had a note on him as well. But if you guys haven't seen the episode, go back because there's lots of juicy stuff in there too. And then she was escorted by the Iron Guard to meet a woman named Melba, who basically prefaced that she's with the King of Flames, but has this sort of underlying tone that maybe she's not. But Catalina does not trust her one bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, Brick.
Brick had a pretty uneventful week.
Yeah, pretty par for the course.
Yes, compared to usual, he mostly just accompanied my tailor and made sure no trouble was gotten into. And then hastily jumped into the caravan.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brick. Happens to the best of us. Now, Delvin got to finally play dress ups again.
I'm Delvin, and I'm our lovable merchant folk, and I had a lot of fun teasing the people in this little grey Dale city. So fuck them.
Well
I
said.
mean, no one really wanted us there in the first place. So it's fine.
All right, and that's where we pick up where we left off. The party is now in a brand spanking new Milton's cart with a giant gouge down the side being piloted by a teenager. So Mikey is sitting in the front next to you, our 14-year-old new companion.
Oh, you're doing great, buddy.
I'm having the time of my life.
That's what it's like on the road.
Looking out at the sprawling hills and giant valley leading up to the distant IRONSPIRE.
I grab his head and turn it towards the road. I'm like, hey, I know it's a nice view, but maybe we should look at the road.
Catalina is in the back of the cart and she's like holding on for dear life as they're like going through rocks and she's like, I'm gonna throw up.
Now, I'm actually going to pull it out of roleplay just for a little bit because we're going to get stuck into it, but I actually want to assign you all one skill point for the last 5 or so sessions to assign. So,
Spending it.
Yeah.
Okay.
go
Yes. I'd like to actually get my skill so I know what the hell I'm doing with my magic.
for it. Whoa, are you going to spend it in your magic?
I want to have the skill so I can
Cool.
use it mechanically.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
this is, I guess I can give you a little clarification now. And this can be something that you'll have more of an instinct for as this
And I've been-
energy is solidified within you.
kind of sussing it out, like with Catalina, I've been using it a bit more, and yeah, I feel like I've got a grasp on it.
You do. And I will give you a few little things you can do with the one skill point you
Yep.
have now put in Dimension Spirit Magic.
Well, that sounds bloody cool.
Dang.
I love spirit dimensions.
So,
The parties in spirit dimensions are wild. The spirit dog head in the clouds, so good.
I'm lost. Anyway,
Hello, Lars.
what are you thinking, Brick?
I do not know, to be honest. I'm not sure what I could do. Maybe with the weapon proficiency, but it's limited by my vocation.
And
I'm not
is
sure at this point.
possibly limited by your career progression too.
Yes, very much so. That's what I mean. Those my vocation.
Oh, but you can't
You
put your
have,
vocation up.
might
Exactly.
I pose, you've been doing a lot of socializing and interacting. And that could be a direction you may have.
You also squinted
developed
really
in.
hard a lot. When
It is bright. I'm just not going to drop character for the rest of the session. I'm sorry.
What are you feeling, Jen?
I think that I am going to put it in endurance to make my endurance just base because currently I have -1 to endurance and I feel like traveling.
You've gone
And-
through the
yeah.
fire, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be a little bit more hardy. So I feel like I've earned that skill point. And at the same
100%,
time, I would also like to not fail endurance checks.
Great.
So I'm going to
good.
put it in that.
So you're at a base 3 now.
Correct, yes.
Cool.
Yep.
All right.
did you seriously think I was going to put it into anything except for magic?
Of course not. So while Brick thinks about his, I'm going to give you a few things that you can do. You can use your Dimension Spirit.
So I have
ability.
1 mana. Now it's clear.
One
I have
mana.
1 mana in a vocation.
And you had the vocation point, which is the mana.
Yep.
And that allowed you 2 things. One, the vocation skill, much like Catalina had to read emotion. It's a similar thing. It was sort of just like a vocation check.
Like
to sort
detect
of-
magic.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the sort of the base thing. And then also, like I mentioned last session, all the magic things come with a skill that they can assist, and yours is more a little different to all the others in that you can assist perception related to magic, and you can assist against magic used
Well, it's
against
like magic
you.
defense.
Pretty much.
Take that, cat.
Cool. So you can sense magic. You can restore magic and focus in others.
Oh, so I can like help them
So
heal
you
their
could
mana.
if Catalina has run out of mana or needs more magic and energy to achieve something, you can use your skill to replenish that at the cost of that mana in you. You can weaken others' magical abilities, You can break bonds of magical abilities.
I'm assuming is that higher level stuff?
Yeah, this stuff will become a bit clearer as magic becomes more known. And you can also do things relating to bonding and even fortune telling, but that requires a different class of magic,
Which I have no access
that you
to.
don't have access to.
That's sick.
Blur this out.
So there you go. That's some stuff you can now choose to do.
How exciting.
Yeah. So now, and I think that works really well as far as like in roleplay, you have witnessed Catalina use magic, and I think that could be a cool catalyst for like that little trickle of a feeling of like sensing that, and now you like feel like what you can hook onto to amplify or reduce. So next time you notice that, you could choose with your essence to grab and amplify that magic source that is being channeled, or to stifle it. So it's sort of like an access to this whole dimension of spirit.
I like
which
it.
is what the magic is called. All right, Brick, what you thinking?
I would like to hold on to my point because I do not know what I'd like to do.
I will give you 1 session. You can spend it next session, but that is your deadline. Okay?
I'm trying to think of something that works into what Brick has been doing for the last few sessions.
I will point out, if you don't spend it and if you don't proactively bring it up first thing next session, you lose the point.
Use it or lose it.
So, yeah, pretty much.
Got it.
But he is not breaking character.
No.
Something could happen this session that might.
Yes, potentially. So the only thing I would feel like I could do is because he's been practicing his kata, he could dodge large and reach weapons, but I can't because my vocation is limited it. You did mention the social aspect, and I'm not sure where that would apply.
You got your way out of the difficult situation with the guy in the town.
Yes, but I did not have to dice roll for it.
You're learning a lot. You could get
For the
general
sake of
knowledge.
knowing what the hell you're saying half the time, maybe break character when you just...
Do not tell me what to do, puny man.
General knowledge.
All right. So let's get back into it. And I'm going to start it off with a little bit of a destiny roll for weather. Okay. It is a gorgeous, sunny spring day. Verging on a little hot, but actually, you know what? Like, one of the more beautiful days you've experienced in a long time. Weirdly welcoming you into this huge world that felt a little hemmed off by the forests and the small towns that you've been a part of. Now it's like you can see very distant towns and far off, like beyond what you can see details for. I want everyone to make a general knowledge roll that is going to inform the sort of things they can expect as you approach or pass your upcoming towns and villages.
How about some perception, Brick?
Actually,
So you can stop falling asleep, guarding Medela.
I'll say a random voice in my ear did kind of spur me on to thinking, what if I did something that would stop me falling asleep? Is that perception or endurance?
That would be endurance.
Yeah, you've been making perception checks at nighttime and rolling terribly.
Yes, but I have 7 in perception.
Okay, so endurance.
Well,
I think
also-
endurance is stay awake or be able to be attentive and make perceptions rolls without a negative.
We'll do endurance.
Has anyone rolled a general knowledge check?
Yes, I only got 1 success.
What is the challenge level?
1 success. I'll give you different knowledge based on what you roll.
I know nothing.
Okay, Brick knows nothing. Literally nothing.
Literally
Okay.
nothing.
Delvin,
I
I'm
got-
gonna throttle you by the end of the chapter if you.
I would
I
like to
shouldn't
see you
dissuade.
try.
I shouldn't disincentivize.
I'm just getting into
roleplay.
it.
Good,
It is quite frustrating.
Delvin. What do you generally know?
I generally know one thing.
One thing.
Yeah, same as me.
So Delvin and Catalina got equal rolls of 1, and Brick got nothing. In short, you're all entering this pretty naive. Even Catalina, who you have been through this path before, I'm going to say in the modes of travel that you've had and the accompaniment you've had, it's been mostly shielded from a lot of awareness. You've been often vouched for or escorted in a way that you haven't directly been your own access into various cities and whatnot.
Yep.
So there's not a lot that you're aware of, except that you both have some inkling that there's some registration required, some sort of accounting for your presence, and potentially something to do with your weapons.
Okay.
But that's pretty much all you know. You pass you leave mid-morning, like at 10 or 11 a.m. And you eat on the road, anything that you've brought with you and you will have packed for the journey. And you pass a village called Springdale in the early afternoon. In fact, you could probably stop in and grab a bite to eat, but it's a pretty small town and not a lot takes place in particular. And you're on the path to Geldervale, which you can reach before sun goes down. So I'm assuming the party will continue to do so.
As we go into that town, does there look like there's any kind of eateries of any renown?
No, it's very much just like
even just like a local bakery or something.
There'll be some crappy inn.
All right,
it's like the one that's like.
Can I make a destiny check on like a local pie shop or something?
Of course you can. Nothing.
We ride on through and Mickey scrapes the fence on the way.
I'm gonna. Do you know what? That's a good point. I'm gonna roll for Mikey. Yep. I'm going to say, so it's challenge level 2 to navigate through the town and leave the town. This is big open roads, paved paths. Challenge level 1, and he fails.
Oh, gosh.
He fails.
I'm going to help him.
We fail forward, but what happened? You're going to assist?
I might help him.
Challenge level 1.
Who's on top? Is it just me?
It's an assist.
Because I want to turn inside. Has anyone got any ride pilot that wants to help out?
I'll have a look. Hold on. I don't think I do.
Nah. I won't help him. I'm going to say that I actually climbed in.
I've got one apparent. Oh, yeah, I've got one. So 4 dice, but.
Well, it can't get much worse.
I'm going to go.
Can't get much worse.
Yeah, I'm going to destiny roll for how badly it goes. Better than it could. So basically what happens is there is a very wide and large paved road for this whole journey between Iron Edge and Geldervale. It's quite impressive. There are also gravel paths on either side, upon which you see messengers traveling in opposing directions for each path. They pass you several times, running at a very particular pace, and Catalina, you will have witnessed them in particular, traveling like the tube. It's reliable.
Yeah.
So they've got their messenger paths that they're traveling. Basically, Mikey just occasionally sort of like gets a little too relaxed, and every now and then just sort of crunches into the side gravel, and that's where someone shouts "Oh!" and he like pulls apart and like yanks on one of the horse's mouth, who sort of like kicks a little bit, and like it's not great, and there is incremental damage being done to the cart and maybe even one of the horses.
No,
but all is well. You're moving forward and you're making good pacing.
While I'm in the back of the carriage, I'm going to pull out a piece of parchment and draw a big L and then pin it to the back of the carriage.
Oh my gosh. In roleplay how you have like veils and like lines and you can do all the safety things in roleplay. That was the first time I've ever wanted to use one. To be like, no, backtrack on the hurting the horses thing. Can we just go back on that and say the horses are fine? She's like, no, not the horses.
All right. So there's nothing to eat at Springdale.
What are the horses' names?
They're pretty much unnamed. They're
up to you. I
guess,
guess,
it's up to you. They don't expect to hand over horses with names with these carriages, so you can name them.
Do we have any names for these horses?
Mikey throws up an apple, the core that he was eating before. He's taken a few from the spilled cart, so he's finishing off another one. It's like, I'll vote one of them's apple. And the other one could be core. And he flings a little core to the head of like one of the big Clydesdales. It doesn't feel it, but he's just been a little runt.
Eggs and bacon.
Am I up on the top? I like that. Eggs and bacon, I can get behind that. Am I on the top with him?
If you choose to be, yeah.
I am going to say I'm still up the top with him.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a clip over the ear when he flicks the horse into the Clydesdale. Flicks the core into it. I'm going to say,
who do you think you are?
Your employer, mate. And I've got another bit of life advice for you, friend. It's maybe don't distract the one thing that's keeping us on this road, because it sure as shite ain't you.
All right. Sorry. He looks a little put in his place.
Yeah.
I was just having fun, sir.
You're allowed to have fun as long as it doesn't put us in danger.
He sort of like looks sheepish. Medela's sitting in the carriage, and at this point, she's resting her head on Brick's arm. It's been a very eventful morning, so she seems a little tired, but she quietly sort of says to Brick, "Do you miss home?"
I am not sure I have any place to call home.
I am shocked by how time has passed. In fact, only a few days ago, we were fishing in a river, and I wish I could freeze that moment and live in it forever. Even though we had lost so much, there was something beautiful about that afternoon.
It was peaceful and wet.
Everything is changing for me, Brick. I never thought I could speak to a Phalanco like this. What has changed for you?
I serve a new master.
I'm going to lean into the little window between the cart and the carriage so you can speak to the driver. And Delvin slides it open and pops his head. He's listening to the conversation. Pops his head down in the gap and he just says, "Oh, I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure he's getting partial to wet meat."
I'm fearful of where I will be a week from now. Because it may not be with you. I shall miss you, Brick.
And you, little one.
You can see off in the distance, Geldervale. It has large walls. This is, when I say distance, this is a long way away. And between your path and Geldervale, which now looks to be, at your current pace, about an hour and a half away. Even though you're traveling at a good pace, you can see a very good view ahead of you. To your right, a very large river has a curious contraption built in that you've seen functioning once or twice now. Huge chains buried in the bed of the river are dragged up by machines that carry trains of cargo that head upstream and downstream between Iron Edge and Geldervale, carrying all sorts of things, livestock mostly, and all sorts of wares and different trade goods between towns, and acting as a ferry to a group of, different people traveling who don't want to bring their horse or cart, or maybe just dropped one off and they're coming back. You can even see at one point of them a couple of Milton's carts being traveled across Geldervale to avoid the dust of the road. It's a really interesting, 5 trains with a sort of a boatish thing at the front and back that sort of lift the chains and attach it to this rig that crank it along. And Delvin, you recognize this as Barrow engineering.
And I immediately and under my breath sort of say, "Aye, there it is, the best of Barrow engineering that we can't afford."
Off the distance, you begin to hear the sounds of drums, very rhythmic drums that seem to rise and fall crescendo, speed up and slow down or drop suddenly. And you become aware as you get closer to Geldervale that these are pace drums, drummed by Phoenician stable hands for horses being trained. These to keep track, and almost like the beep test that we're familiar with, these rhythmic drums that speed up, that the gallops of these horses are meant to keep up with, to sort of see at what point the horse begins to fail or weakness begins to show. And over the hugely spanning fields, there are, as far as the eye can see, endless stables and tracks for these horses. This is the home of the greatest horses in all of IRONSPIRE and Great Owl. And it's very clear. You will have heard, even if you're not very well informed with your general knowledge, everyone knows about the Vale-bred horses. The outer wall is very high, and you're approaching. At this point, things start to thicken up a bit, and there are more carts on the road, sort of coming in from different areas. This is late in the afternoon now, too. This is, the sun is starting to wane a little bit, but, people are sort of ending for the day. And you can see quite a way ahead of you the small townships on the outskirts of Geldervale, fledgling populations that no longer fit within the walls of Geldervale and have spanned far out from the walls of Geldervale, that cater with, small inns and houses and townships, places that see people probably come to stay for periods of training, but may not live in particular. There's quite a lot of these, all spread throughout little clusters of towns. And far ahead you see the wall of Geldervale and the towers within it that seem to be built of wood and stone and erected extremely tall. Probably the closest thing, aside from the spire itself, to skyscrapers in the modern day. Very colossal structures meant to get views.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Do we have a destiny point back at any point?
Did I give you one last session?
I do not know. I've not used one.
I don't think so. I can't remember. Sorry. But
I'm going to say no. I'll give you one next session.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a skill point this session.
Yeah.
That's fine. Let's just check.
You got enough, you greedy boy.
Hey,
You
every
go,
couple of
yes.
sessions. It's not that. It's pretty often.
Yeah. All right.
Has Catalina been through here before?
She will have, but she probably will have been a procession of Thenesian carriages that were probably being relatively enclosed and curtained off or whatever. You'll have peeked out and seen things, but registration and entry would have been handled by people escorting or, doing the transportation. And you can see off in the distance, this is now, 15 minutes ride away ahead, so not too far now. There's a registration gate, and there's actually lined up a few people.
Is
that-
it West Wall?
It is. Ooh, thank you, Rob. Good segue. I have something to share with y'all.
What?
Let's go check out a bloody map. So
Geldervale.
if you go to the maps in IRONSPIRE, let me just crack it open for a sec.
Oh, crack
Boom.
that egg.
Here we are. So here between Iron and Bakerbury, we have, you click on the little town, Geldervale. Hooray. Welcome to Geldervale. So you have come in from this road here and you are approaching West Wall Gate.
Cool.
And that is where the registration takes place. I won't show you the regions, but you can check those out later once you get familiar with Geldervale. But for the time being, this is pretty much your impression of it. Lots of things that look like lots of buildings, and it's very large. And there's a cluster of very tall towers and buildings in the center, sort of leaning towards the IRONSPIRE side. All right. Oh, what are you expecting us to provide up that gate? I ain't got any on me. In fact, I don't even think I have a change of clothes. I didn't back home anyway.
Well, you know what a gelder is, mate.
You mean a horse?
Oh, trust me, we won't be giving them what's in that coin purse. All right. I have a feeling it's a bit of money they want.
Well, the other option is that, Brick's not easily hideable, but maybe Mikey hides in the cart and maybe
What do
we
you
can
think?
pass.
Think they're going to search the cart?
Exactly.
Well, what's the problem with that?
If they don't search the cart, then we don't have to worry about their papers.
What, we need papers to get in here?
Yeah, we do.
Do we?
Have you never been here before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Stop the carriage.
The carriage. That's up to you guys. Do you want to? Okay, you're going to have to make a ride pilot check, or
He can do it.
all right. Challenge number 1.
You got to learn sometime. Oh my god!
He got one. He got one.
All right.
Okay.
Slow
A
down,
little
slow down.
abrupt, but he halts. He's sort of getting the hang of it. Or at least he thinks he is. But yeah, the horse has come to a stop, and you're a few yards away from. How long is a yard? You're a little bit away from this gate.
All right. I point to Mikey. I say, get in. I'm taking your place.
Oh, what? Because you think you're all. Yeah, no, that probably makes sense. Fair enough. And he climbs in the cart.
And I sit up on top with you.
Don't you think that a noble lady looking like yourself is less or more suspicious on top of the cart than a page boy?
I prefer the breeze. It's too stuffy in there anyway.
All right, you want me to get in the back too?
No, you're driving.
What? I'm dressed as a nobleman, and I will be able to pull that off just as well as you, Missy.
Well, then we both prefer the fresh air.
I will say this beard glue is getting damn itchy. I flick a fleck of dry glue out from underneath. It's been on for like 10 hours.
Perhaps our presence will dissuade them from checking inside.
But what if they do get inside? See, if I'm back there, then if they do get to the door, you got a second line of bullshit.
Sure. However you want to play this.
All right, I'll take the back, and if they come to it, I'll try and fluster them out as I'm with my exotic gentleman friend back here. All right, and I climb down and get in the back of the cart. And then as I close the door to the cart, I look around and I'm like, okay, maybe that plan's pretty bad. I'll come up with something better.
And I start just getting into line with everyone else and...
Make a ride pilot check.
I shall.
Challenge level 1. It's still all very open roads.
These horses are bred to go straight.
Yeah, you got 2. The best this cart has ever been driven. You've seen it been done before enough that you crack the hand reins and they move forward, and the horses seem to breathe a sigh of relief as they're sort of being held a little more deftly and move forward into line. There's about 4 carts in front of you of varying degrees of niceness, but you can see quite clearly over time, because you've basically come to a halt, the way that they're basically sort of everyone's being expected to sort of step out, registrations being required, and for those that don't have registration, some sort of vouching or some sort of means of reason for staying and someone who can vouch for them, all that stuff. You can sort of see a general searching. It's not, I'm going to get you to roll a perception check. I'm telling you too much.
Sure.
I'm being a little too giving here. All right, I'll keep going. All right. You got 4. Look, they're searching for a few different things. It seems like they're checking weapons, checking for stowaways, and they're also checking for watcher marks. So they're just checking sort of body, sort of general, like, all right, lift up your shirt and pull in the back and the bottom.
Is there just one checkpoint, like person checking, or is there multiple
There's
people
a
checking?
dozen or, there's about a dozen.
I want to try...
2 or 3 doing paperwork and a handful doing the checkovers.
Okay, I kind of want to try and worm my way into what I perceive as like the easiest looking line. Like maybe there's someone that's quite like short and lanky that I think I can just like work my magic.
You have
theoretically.
It all seems the same to you.
Yeah, okay. That just line up to wherever.
That was a destiny roll of 10, and you got no idea. You line up wherever.
Cool.
About 15, 20 minutes passes as they sort of take a little bit of time getting through all of them. It's the afternoon. They've done this all day, so they're not really rushing. They're just sort of rolling their eyes and getting on with it.
Okay, as we're approaching...
There's a sort of separate line for, people on horseback or travelers by foot or people who are residents who have something to show for it. Sorry, go on.
I'm going to read emotions of the guard that I'm going to go towards.
Great. So you can, there's one card in front of you at this point getting checked.
Great.
And you know they're going to be on you next, and you can tell the person who is sort of ordering the others around a little bit.
Yep.
They're just grey guards of the city.
Cool.
Make your roll.
Oh, I failed.
You fail, so you lose 1 mana. 2, what?
I have 3, so now I have 2.
Yeah, you have 2. Okay. Yeah. So you spend 1 mana, but you can read just absolute boredom.
Cool.
It's pretty empty. You really don't get much because there's really not a lot there. This is someone who's been on autopilot for 10 hours.
Cool. Okay.
So he's not paying a lot of attention.
Great.
Okay. And you're up next. The cart ahead of you rolls forward, and it's your time to roll forward. And he sort of waves you on, just expecting you to fall in line.
Yep, that's exactly what I do.
All right. What have we got here? Thanisian, madam.
Good day, sir.
Tell me your
Madam,
reason for
sir.
being here, your cargo, and when you expect to leave.
Of course.
And he's got a clipboard.
Yep, I give him my papers and I tell him who I am. Just passing through, I intend to meet my mother, who is in Bartok Heap further on. As you can see, my cart, unfortunately, has seen better days. There's a few bandits on the road, unfortunately. So I would much love to just go straight into the city and get some sleep. It has been an awful day.
Roll a persuasion check.
Or a deception check.
I
Hate to be the guy.
yeah.
You're lying, man.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's deception.
Yeah, okay.
Bandits attacked my cart? Like,
That's where it goes into deception. You actually could have go anyway. Yep. 3. I'm going to say that's. Do you know
His
what?
first
I'll give him
perception.
perception. I'm going to give him 3 to roll with, and he got 1. So no, he's like, Looks like you've had a rough enough time of it. All right, we'll have to ask your passengers to step out. We'll get this all over with quickly.
Oh, passengers. There are no passengers. It's just me. I
All
lost
right,
my...
check the cart, boys. And
Okay. Shift emotions. I think that's what I want to do.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
I will say you have seen this happen with other carts. They've basically like, and I did sort of say before, everyone sort of stepped out and there's been
But
everyone's been accounted for.
Is he going to check their papers? Or is
No,
he,
not
he just wants
necessarily.
to- Okay, that's actually no. Yeah, I'll let him do it.
Your work, what you've done, will be working so far.
Okay.
There's nothing that's worrying me from the
Okay.
player's perspective right now.
Okay, I'm going to keep my eyes on
Yeah.
him though, in case things do turn south.
That's fine. So,
Okay.
Does someone approach the side of the cart?
yeah, I'm going to say 3 people, 1 to the back and 2 to the sides.
They
One's
knock,
just sort of
just go
checking
door.
over, one's looking under, and then another sort of comes up to the door, knocks a few times, just holding a clipboard.
I open it a crack, like a little bit, and pop my head out. Good day, sir.
Hello, how many you got in board?
Let me count. There's the 2 little kids and the big boy. 3 and me, 4.
You have, what was a family business, I think I heard?
Oh, no, we're just helping an old friend who's coming into town to see her mother.
Very well. Any
Now, did you need to check us or something? That
any
nonsense?
unclaimed trade goods or any sort of lists, like a whole bunch of things is just sort of meant to read. This is airport security,
Yeah,
guys.
and do we have any of those?
No.
We're like, no, none of that. Usual stuff. We've just been an eye and eye.
Yep. We'll expect everyone who's of adult age just to sign the declaration and their expected
Can
time
I-
to stay.
Can I have a private? Can I have a private chat with you, sir? Just.
He looks up like you're going off the rails a little bit. Like, oh yeah, sure.
There's a bit of a complication, you see. There's 2 children and 1 adult, but he's actually property. He's not a free man. So he has no
I don't follow.
sign himself. That's why I said perhaps in private. I don't want to cause any harm. Would you like to step inside?
I would if you don't mind. He's like,
And
holding
I
his
actually-
clipboard and he like pulls down his spectacles.
I say, we don't want to cause any fuss, but I procured this rather peculiar specimen. And then I open the door and beckon him in on, come have a look at this guy.
and he like leans
I'm
in.
going to lean forward intently.
This is Destiny roll just to see how he receives it. His heart starts and his like eyes go wide and he's like, I've heard of your kind before.
And I let out, I'm like, isn't that a delightful find?
Wow. Amazing.
You see, he's got no sign for himself because he's just property, isn't he?
I think I've heard about the way that works. Hey, no, fair enough. You'll understand the weapon is a problem. We will be holding it until the time of your departure. Any weapons, of course.
No weapons in the city.
No, not unless you're a part of the Protectors Guild or a member of the Guard. Not within the walls. It's standard.
I would assume that
are-
I would assume the guards of a diplomat are, of course, exempt from that. As of course, our Thanisian colleague is a politician, and this gentleman aids in her protection when needed.
If you can provide Protection Guild papers, that's absolutely no problem.
I would like to attempt to bullshit him into thinking that as a diplomat.
I'm going to give you a challenge level roll for this. I'm going to make it a challenge level. Oh, I need to look up the bloody challenge level. Okay, Jen. Roleplay.com. Because this is like trying to get through airport security without going through the security gate.
Yeah, but that's pretty hard.
I'm going to say extremely difficult challenge level 5. That is your challenge level. It can be persuasion or one of your diplomacy checks.
Oh, are you happy with deception? I'm basically making this up.
Yep.
Woo, Nelly!
You can do it.
I'm really excited for you to roleplay whichever way this goes.
1, 2, 3,
4
4.
Destiny.
Okay.
Oh, Destiny! I'm spinning that to me.
All right. Tell me the spin.
So,
Yep.
she already presented her papers, which showed that she's a diplomat, right?
Yes.
Well, of course, under subsection C of the Trade Act between Thanisia and 62C between Thanisia and and the IRONSPIRE. Of course, that means that any single guard accompanying a diplomat is permitted to carry their ceremonial weapon in the case of any kinds of civil unrest. And of course, there have been a lot of unrest lately, so in such states where the citizens might put risk upon any diplomatic relationship or undue strain between the citizens and the guards, it's important to have an impartial...
of course, I understand the rules. Yeah.
I assumed you did, sir. I assumed you did. You look like a learned man.
Yes, I don't mean to put question upon you, sir. Very well. The ceremonial weapon only, but you understand any other weapons on hand, so please.
Would you count this as a weapon? And I pull the knife off my belt and show him like the fruit paring knife that's kind of rusted and dinted. And my favorite, is this, what's the blade length capacity that you must turn in? Of course, this is a fruit knife.
All right, I'll let a paring knife pass. Very well, very well. He sort of wants to get on with it. But it's like,
children, do you have any weapons? Do you have a slingshot, perhaps?
All
that
right,
I'm not aware
sir,
of?
I get it.
Well,
And he's gently closing the door.
Wait, one more thing. I just want to say, you do a wonderful job. Thank you very much for keeping the streets safe. There's been rough times out west, and it's nice to know I'm coming into a town that has some kind of civility and protection behind it.
Yeah. Long live the king and all.
Long live the king, and good day to you.
Very theatrical, sir. I'm assuming you're staying near the theatre district.
Well, if that's where the dandies are, why not?
You get a destiny point.
That was great. Well done.
Bloody brilliant. Amazing.
Fantastic.
I pull the little thing out. Yes!
Catalina just kind of looks stunned and kind of looks at the guard and says,
Yeah, that's pretty unheard of that would have been pulled off with such finesse. So you're starting to get a hint as to why he is such a proficient trader. It may not be particularly to do with the goods. Yeah.
do I know, throughout my travels, have I heard of a trader that is particularly to Delvin's description? Like someone that is a master of...
Oh, really?
trade?
Well, if they knew about me, I wouldn't be a master.
Precede you enough? I mean, not particularly.
Okay.
Everyone has their sort of thing that gets them to that next level, and it just seems that this is the one he leans on.
Okay.
But no, I don't think outside of the trades between the Barrows and Felmore.
Okay.
At least not probably under the name of Delvin.
Yeah, I guess that's...
Lord Reginald on the other hand. Francel, got to remember that one. So,
Okay.
He does come back around to the person who's like checking you in, and he was like, "Oh, making out the ceremonial weapon for the Phelan Coal on board in the back, accompanying for protection the Thanisian." And the man sort of like raises his eyebrows, like, "Huh, you see everything." And no, he said, "Oh, so when you think you've seen everything," he notes that down. So he actually does note down that there is a weapon on board, but it's tracked.
It's
Sort of,
I am the weapon.
I turn to Delvin. I turn back into Delvin, and then I speak with his voice. And I turn to Brick and I say, I didn't think you'd want to be part with that, mate.
Training with the weapon is only part of it, but I could still kill a man with my bare fists.
Oh, I got
Fist.
no question in that, Brick, but I have a feeling deep down beneath that surface, there's a bit of attachment to that blade.
It is my favorite.
Exactly, and now you get to keep it.
As the checking in sort of is wrapping up and you're about to be moved on, you actually see off in the distance someone who's on a horse, sort of riding up to you, waving, and he's got some nice outfits on. He looks like a noble person. It's like, "Oh, there you are. Yes, good to see you. Finally." And he sort of claps up familiarly. It's like, my apologies, you won't have heard of me before, but I'm actually here representing Ainsley to invite you to his estate for an introductory meal. Ainsley, of course, the employer of Edgar, who I believe you have come from. You're escorting young Medela, I believe.
Right.
I kind of knock on the
No,
thing.
this is out of like you've been
Okay,
moved on.
cool. Okay,
so this
cool.
is like they've actually moved on to the next
Yeah.
cut.
Is
So
he on a
don't
horse or
worry,
on
like
foot?
you're not like he's on a horse. So he's like sort of at the eye level of
Are we
Catalina.
stopped or moving?
Or closer. You've moved ahead. He's sort of he's come in as you've sort of slowed down, but the guards have moved on, so they're not really catching any of this.
I kind of opened the little door so that you can hear what this guy is saying. Of course.
Catalina, was it?
Correct, yes.
I'm Harold.
It is lovely
Well
to
met.
meet you. Yes.
Everyone's on board then?
Yes.
Lovely.
Yes.
Well, dinner is in 2 hours. He does expect promptness, but he also likes to host. So do expect a good meal. Don't go eating too much beforehand. But please enjoy the sights. If you haven't been to Geldervale before, gorgeous town. I would hope you'd be staying for a few days.
Oh, but of course. Do you recommend somewhere in town to stay?
We have a famous theatre district.
So I've heard.
Yeah, lots of out-of-towners tend to come to Geldervale around this time, in particular because the Spire Run season is about to start several weeks from now. Yes, you've heard of the Spire Run, of course.
What was the name of the lad again?
Well, we spoke of that out of character, but do you want to make a general knowledge check?
This guy's Harold. He was the attendant of
Ainsley.
Ainsley.
You have heard of Ainsley before. You recognised his name through
I just
through Edgar.
wanted to write it in my scrapbook so I didn't forget it.
2. I'm going to say with 2, you have heard of the Spy Run, but not in any great detail.
Yep. Oh, yes, of course. I know vaguely of it.
Your familiarity basically entails that that's how like the best messaging horses are sort of get their acclaim.
Yeah. I've not witnessed it with my own eyes.
Well, that's the beauty of this beautiful city, is if you happen to be here in a week when it starts, you can see the Spy Run. It's the only place in all of IRONSPIRE, apart from the Spire itself, when you can view almost the entirety of the race. In fact, Barrow telescopes are used in the highest of the towers in the center of the city by some of the special few who have access. And you happen to have a host who is a special one of the few.
Well, that sounds entirely desirable, and I don't foresee us staying over a week, unfortunately.
Ah, shame. Well,
Yes.
if you change your mind. Otherwise, I very much look forward to seeing you in a few hours if you expect to be attending, of course.
But of course, thank you very much. We will see you then.
And he leaves you with directions
Yep.
through town on where to attend. And if you have any other questions about getting your way around, now is the sort of time to ask.
Did he say food?
I believe so.
Good food.
He looked wealthy.
All right, kids, drink plenty of water right now. You want to stretch your stomach out and get ready for the big feast. You don't want to eat, though. Water passes through pretty quick, and if you drink it, you can get ready to enjoy yourselves even more tonight.
Is there a stable on the outside of town I can park the car?
There are stables.
Of course there is. Of course there is.
So
I picked the
you, in fact,
fanciest
looking
one.
into they're too fancy. Like honestly, this whole city is built around the culture of their breeding. So there are lots of the inns have very illustrious sort of stabling facilities, and even some of the homes and just public ones as well. So it's pretty well a free for all. It's easy to look after your horses or your cart. It's a huge city.
I'll let Delvin kind of gesture to me towards whatever one he wants to pick, because it's your carriage.
Is there any that looks like has a workshop attached?
You're in sort of the outer regions. So as just before Harold sort of goes off, did you want to get directions anywhere in particular?
I can't. I'm in the carriage and he's talking. Like, you pull the curtain open. We want a luxury carriage. It's got curtains and windows and such. All right, so. Hello, Harold.
He'd just started to turn, and he sort of turns back and looks over and says, "Oh, is someone new with your retinue?"
Oh, yes, it was me. It's Francel. Anyway, the point...
He's like looking, like thinking of like the names he accepted.
Don't worry. Edgar's a long-term employer of mine. I've worked with him many times. I wanted to say, is there a stable of some description that might be able to fix up... You see, I got very drunk last night, and I smashed my carriage into a wall, and it's one of Marvin's magnificent carriages, and I don't want it to be shit.
Oh, forgive, I should have mentioned this earlier, but Ainsley has arranged accommodation for you all. One of the finest inns in the Noble District.
I like fine inns.
Forgive, I expect he would have told you himself and guided you there after tonight's proceedings, but yes, I can, of course, give you instructions on how to get there and make yourselves comfortable before tonight.
Will they be able to look after our darling horses, bacon and eggs?
I'm sorry, you'll feed your horses what?
No, the horses are named Bacon and Eggs. See, it's a fun little name. It's a play on breakfast. Because they are a good combination, like bacon and eggs.
Delightful. He looks slightly confused as to who the heck this person is. Sorry, what was the question again?
I said... that's wrong.
He looks at Catalina like,
Directions.
yes, forgive. And
Delvin's just like...
he gives directions as to
Gotta
where to
find my
go.
sentence.
You know, between the military district and the theatre district, you go through to the Noble and blah, blah, blah. And he's only 3 blocks away. And
Wonderful.
guys are through. Wonderful stables.
Someone that will look after my horses!
Yes. Well, in fact, and he's sort of like, he clops ahead and he sort of like looks to the side, eyeing off that gouge he's sort of seen as he was conversing with you. They might even be able to help spruce that up a little bit. Seems like you've had a hard journey.
Yes, that's what I said earlier. I said something about that, I'm sure.
Yes.
Getting drunk and smashing it.
Getting drunk. Okay. Look forward to seeing you tonight.
Yes!
Yes.
Take care.
Wonderful.
Bravo!
He looks a little befuddled as he sort of trots off.
Seems like an excellent chap, doesn't he?
Yes.
I say while he's still in earshot.
How long are you going to keep this facade?
Until the bloody guards that saw me do it are bloody out of earshot. Doesn't that make sense?
I think that's up to you to Catalina to get out of earshot.
Yeah.
Let's go to the bloody city. Also, I have no intention of dropping this act. It's dripping with fire.
All right, you got a destiny point. Calm down. No,
Yeah,
the guard's like behind you, just like, are you guys going to move or what? Because the cart
Yes,
behind you start trying to get ahead. All right.
Run away.
Yeah, and off you go. There are 6 lanes in the city, 2 in the center for bi-directional carts, 2 outside of that for horses and single cart carriages, and on the outside of that, we have people. This is the main strip through the city that basically you could follow all the way along and get all the way to the Eastgate Wall. You travel through Geldervale city proper. It's a large place, as I've sort of mentioned. You sort of see the lineages and lots of a wide variety. You see even a couple of people get pickpocketed here or there. Everyone roll a perception check as you travel through the city. And maybe give me a little something as to what you're most interested in, what your character would be most looking out for. Delvin.
The pickpocketing. I want my boy not to get go down a bad path, but I didn't. I only got 2 successes.
You got 2 successes. I'm going to say let's keep going with the rolls. Jen, what are you looking out for? Catalina?
Any iron guard and how many there are and if they're looking at me in particular because I'm feeling a little bit vulnerable right now.
Yep. 4. All right, yeah, you're pretty onto it right now. And Brick, what are you looking out for?
Threats and the way that any town guard or soldiers carry themselves in terms of like what I would perceive as fighting proficiency from these people.
Okay, great. Make your roll. You got 4. Cool.
5. 4.
4.
4.
So we'll go through in that order, starting off with Delvin. You're in the cart, so it's sort of hard to see with a great view, but you do notice a couple of pickpockets, and from what you can see, you notice a pattern of them sort of communicating with each other. Or just like there's a couple of people who sort of look out for each other, or one of them sort of like grabs and the other sort of running through, and they like relay it, pass it along, and they run along. So you've only noticed a couple, but it seems like there's probably a little bit of a subculture in here of taking advantage of outsiders and wealthy people who come through this city. Catalina, there are lots of guards around the place, but this is a place that you can clearly get the sense is a well-oiled machine, and it seems like a lot of the grey guards are pretty complacent, pretty just sort of par for the course. They've got their routines, they've got their routes and general things they're looking out for. 1 or 2 of them seem to be sort of bullying the common townsperson, or just, some homeless person they're trying to trudge away from one of the nicer parts of town. But overall, None of them seem to be paying any particular interest. They all sort of seem a little more self-interested because they're the Grey Guard. They're the special ones, so they actually are a little seemingly unobservant of things that they don't want to be too perceptive about.
Fantastic.
As far as Iron Guard goes, you don't actually come across any, except for as you get closer to the... So the Grey Guard are like the town locale. Iron Guard are sort of more high level and sort of come in and out of certain cities. You do come across a few regiments of those towards the center, which is, at this point, you're sort of between tall buildings and you've sort of gone off of the main strip to head towards the noble areas. And then you come across a small group of them.
Yep.
Brick, of all of these people, you notice, similarly to Catalina, not anyone looks particularly proficient except for the rare few. It's more like just a day job. They look fit enough, like football players or whatever, but not like prime soldiers or athletes. So you could take most of them.
I find them wanting a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see them as anything but formidable opponents. Cool. So you feel pretty confident that should you come into some trouble, you could definitely take a few at once.
And threats?
Nothing in particular. There's a couple of people who you notice a couple of thug-looking people who like look at the carriage and see the caliber of carriage and then sort of second guess as they see the gouges in its side and it's covered in dirt and they're just like, no, not worth my time. But no, nothing in particular. Cool. You'll pass as you turn through the political district, a large opening for where public executions seem to have been taking place today. It seems again like a par for the course sort of thing. So there's actually a few people hanging that are being cleared up after, and a few people who seem to have been leaving after the proceedings have taken place. And these seems to be, and you over here, a few people mention, the Watchers this time or blah, blah, blah. So there's a couple of Watchers who have been executed or caught out. And maybe even like a thug or two, but it's pretty standard, just sort of like high-level thievery stuff. As you travel around the theatre district and the politician district, where these buildings are much more ornate, still wood and stone, but really well built and quite finely crafted and carved. As you travel around the streets, all the way around to what is becoming more and more apparent ahead of you is the noble district, where the towers are taller and taller, and these houses are sort of built into these towers as multi-layered buildings. And as such, so that they can have a view over the walls. Now, the walls of Geldervale are quite tall because they're, a large city wall of a Great Owl city, but more ornate than for being a bastion of protection. And the center of the city is like irresponsibly tall because really it's all, the real estate is all about going up and getting that view of the Spire Run and what this city is all about. You follow your route all the way down to the Shining Mare Inn, which is, people are unloading their carts. There's some merriment happening, and the sun is well and truly settling at this point. The last hues of red are disappearing as you're about an hour away from needing to attend the dinner you've been invited to.
Cool.
Okay.
We'll go in.
The carriage pulls up. There's like a concierge who sort of steps out and like, good evening. It seems you're pulling up in here to stay with us tonight?
Yes.
Seems like you've seen some hard travels.
I kind of look at the gash on the door and look back and say, yes, it's very strange times we live in at the moment. Got to be careful.
Yes, it's getting rough out there, I hear. Do you do much traveling, madam? All the way from Tunisia. What work are you here for, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm super sus on this guy.
So, can I hear this conversation?
Yeah. Are we about to...
I play it completely cool.
Yep.
What do you say?
If you wish to interrupt.
No, I'm just seeing what you say next.
Okay.
Say how comfortable. Do I get the sense of you being uncomfortable?
I'm a little taken back. I'm not used to someone approaching me with so many questions before.
A couple of other people come out at this point ready to like take some bags. So there's like a squad of kind people to usher you in.
Great.
I look towards Mikey and I say, all right, now, play along. I'm going to twist your ear a bit, but I won't be too hard on it.
What you got in mind? Tell me the role.
Okay.
I want to go at what you do.
You're just the usher boy who's done a naughty job crashing our cart. Take a bit of the distraction off.
Do you reckon that's believable? He says, looking down at his rags of clothes.
Ooh. I'll make it work.
All right. He looks like this is a game I can play.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I smash the door open, poof, door open, and lead him out by the ear, pushing him out of the cart.
Yeah.
And then I take a few steps out and I'm like, well, boy, I said keep the cart in good condition. I raised you up off the streets for some... And then I look around, see all the people and calm myself.
That's his infiltration check.
Okay, he looks completely...
No, he goes... Well, sir, I
clip
he's
him,
clearly trying to imitate your role to participate.
I just immediately give him the back. I look like there's a wince, and I just give him a soft back of the hand.
How dare
and then I'm
you,
just
sir?
And you have the gall to mock me.
I would never mock you. You mock me, sir. He says this. You mock me, sir, and he whacks you back. I'm insulted. Take care of this carriage at once, he says, turning to the group.
What is the vibe? What's the mood?
Can I now get out of the thing and just
It's like a clown
stretch
car.
as if I've been stuck in it for a
and
long
you
time?
have been. You've been.
Yeah.
And that's a good
Yeah.
point. This 7 foot
Yeah.
Phelan Cole
I did ask for a
has
very
been
large
scrunched
carriage.
up in this carriage. Yeah. Oh, very large, but still, even
Yeah, okay.
in a room where you can't stand up tall or lay down fully straight,
Yeah.
would be very uncomfortable for 10 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I turn to this man and say, did I say dangerous times? I meant weird, strange times. We're just passing
Let
through.
us see, just to, let me know if there's any bags we can attend to, and we will might leave you to mind your own business.
Are you all valets or something? What's the story?
Of course we are. Do you
How
have
many of our needs do you attend to at this establishment?
any needs you have in mind?
All
sir?
right, clean this boy up and get him some fresh clothes. And I hand a smacker of coins. If I'm going to make a proper boy out of this orphan, I'm going to do bloody better than this little ragamuffin.
Yes, you can see him sort of leaning back and just muttering to one of the people next to him. Roll perception just to see if you pick up on what he's saying. I would say challenge level 2.
3 successes.
Okay. Yeah, you can clearly overhear him being like, "Are you sure that was it Ainsley? If it's Ainsley, very well. Yes, of course, at once. Not a problem. I believe you are staying at the in the Sunset Suite.
Yes, that sounds appropriate. Unfortunately, my better heart took the better of me on the road, and I've picked up this ungrateful little urchin.
We'll have him cleaned up for you in no time. Is there anything else we can handle for you all?
Fixed? Have you got him?
2 of them have already started escorting this boy away, and they were like, "We'll drop him off in your room in about 40 minutes."
Oh, he doesn't not in my room.
Wait.
Surely he's got it.
No, you were all staying in the suite.
What? Are there multiple bedrooms or something?
He smirks and is like, "You'll be well looked after, sir.
As long as I don't have to share a room with this little rat. He
You
smells.
I'm certain you will be pleased with the space you have.
Good. All right.
I hope you enjoy your stay." And he holds his breath and just sort of walks
He's
away.
gonna laugh, or is he?
It's like grabs, looks for a bag to grab, and there doesn't seem to be any.
I just
It's
follow
like,
him.
he sort of guides you guys in.
Great.
Urchin number 2, and I open the door. What about Medela?
Medela steps out behind Brick, absolutely gobsmacked at this city. She's seen towering cities of stone and concrete and small towns of wood and stone, but this is a new level of unfamiliarity she hasn't experienced before. And she's clasping sort of Brick's robes, or clothes. All right, and I guess you guys are able to just sort of get ready.
Head into our
Yeah,
room?
you head into your suite.
Suite.
It is a
Okay.
multi-level apartment. It's one of the more penthouse-ish of the suites in this building. Really nice. Even Delvin, who sees to it that he experiences the niceties of the world, you've never quite experienced this level of nicety before. So the beds you recognize are of the finest imported Phoenician silks. There are already stations of drink and food and hors d'oeuvres and just around the room some rose petals sort of scattered around one of the tables, and the windows, large windows on this, I'm going to say like 8th, 9th story. This is quite high up at this point, overlooking a gorgeous setting sun off to the west, seeing the journey from where you came. Roll a perception check.
3.
Okay. You see a gorgeous setting sun. And
Epic.
the fields off in the distance with the tracks being run and the drums have all quietened down. You can see some small outskirt campfires and in lights, and the city closer towards you and below is now starting to thrive and bustle as the night festivities and activities begin in this wonderfully festive, tourist-heavy and wealthy person-heavy, I'm not good at words sometimes, city.
Affluent.
Thank you! That's good. Would you want to... Anyway.
Are we alone? Like, is anyone in the room aside from us?
Make
and
perception
Medela
check. Just have a...
I just pictured you passing a perception check, and one of those dudes who hands you like the towels in a toilet is just standing in the corner
Holy
of the room.
shit!
I fail. I have no
Crit
idea.
No,
fail.
it's basically just to get your bearings. So
Where am
you
I?
get a little bit lost. This is a multi-level suite.
Okay.
And there are more than enough rooms for all of you. You have your pick of a few great rooms because there are going to be some empty ones.
Okay.
But it's sort of a little bit confusing, to be honest, because they're a little interconnected and it's sort of multi-layered. So
Okay.
yeah. It'll take getting back here later on to sort of figure out where you're going to stay. And
Okay. I'm going to let everyone do what they want to do, but I say to everyone, I wish to speak to you all before we leave. Pray do what you must before we head out, but it'll be brief.
Aye, no worries.
Mikey steps in, escorted with 2 people behind him. He walks in, he's like, I finally got it what you were talking about. The problem was I looked like a rag, whereas now, and he's got hair like oiled and slicked back, and he's looking and smelling pristine, and some new clothes. They look like noble children's clothes. It's like, I never thought I'd look like one of them puffy ones, but I'm looking right puffy, I am.
Well,
I feel like if I do the voice now, it makes a little more sense. Is that right?
that's what we call context, mate. It's a good lesson to learn.
I like
Play the
these
part for
lessons.
the context you're trying to get
I want
behind.
to sign up to your school. This is fun.
Well, consider that your first month's pay, and I look at his clothes.
Great. I ain't been paid before, except for this morning.
All right, well, you get to enjoy the lovely comfort of the penthouse where we go out for our meeting. Are we being met here or going elsewhere?
Going elsewhere.
But don't bloody break anything, or you consider that gravy train you're on to be running to an
As
end.
you're talking, he like walks past you like,
What is a train?
golly. He's like high ceilings, and he just starts to run through the rooms, just like looking around. And he's getting his bearings the way he used to on the streets. He's sort of like, not like a chimp, but he's running around like a kid exploring a big new place.
Cool. He's allowed to.
Medela's like, this is one of the nicest, taller places I've seen in Great Ale.
I'm happy to chat with you guys, but I got something to attend to.
What is that?
Oh, I just
Don't we
need
have-
like 20 minutes. And I gesture to I like flick my beard. I'm like, I thought Delvin was going to this meeting, not Francel.
That makes sense.
And I'm going to head off to the
That-
bathroom. And
Does that get itchy?
yep, it certainly does get itchy, especially after the first 6 hours.
I would spend my time finding the most defensible room in Medela.
There is only one room that is not connected to windows and a great view. It's still very illustrious with high ceilings and a chandelier and a 4-poster bed. And it has 2 doorways. But you feel like that is going to be the best protective
I'll use
room.
that one. I'm going to bar one of the doorways with something.
Okay.
Just pick up a cabinet.
All right. You effectively fully block one of the 2 doorways.
Thank you.
And the one that is most close to the exit of the building
Yep.
is now one for you to guard.
Yep.
What is it that you wanted to speak about, Catalina?
Well, to you personally, it's interesting. We've travelled to so many places and there are little familiarities of home for me. It's interesting that I don't know if you feel the same sensation.
It is all very unfamiliar.
Forgive me, I forget myself, but what does Felmore produce? Like, do you have an export?
Exporting is something, as far as I understand, that has only been very recent, but we produce very much of gold and...
Glass.
Thank you. We have very fine glass, and we use imports from other places more recently to produce fineries, but otherwise we've been a very well-known people for our use of the animals we cultivate and the technologies that we have created in our concretes and our tapestries made of organic materials in the oases of the north.
I would like to see your homeland one day. I think it would be incredibly interesting.
And yours. I've only heard in stories the grand tale of the white silk buildings in Phoenicia.
Tell me, is this the highest building you have been in, or do they go much higher where you're from?
She walks ahead up to the window, her hands behind her back, considering. I have been into tall buildings before. It seems in Greydale they very much like them more than we do in Felmore. There are a few in the centre of the great city, very tall and very large, but just one building. Here there are many. And I believe, from what I hear about IRONSPIRE, it is nothing but tall buildings. I've been this tall once or twice. But I am beginning to suspect I shall see many things from great heights from now on.
I suspect that is true. I'm happy just to wait for everyone else. Now,
The sound of furniture dragging from Brick's room.
Yeah.
I'll sort of say, yeah, like it's 10, 15 minutes away from
yeah.
where you guys are ready to head out.
That's fine. I'm going to go up to Delvin while you're
Cool.
pulling your beard out.
The door is closed. I'm in the bathroom. So
I knock on the door.
almost done, Kat. I'm assuming that was you by the sound of the knock.
Yes. I just want to speak to you privately first, once, of course, you're finished.
All right, give me a moment to finish my business.
I'll just hang out the door.
And a couple of minutes pass, and Delvin approaches, clean-shaven and with the fake beard peeled off, but he was growing a bit of stubble beneath it.
Much better. Does it feel better?
Oh, I feel like I don't have lice in my face. It's nice.
Tell me, this new companion that we have, how much do you trust him?
Not at all.
I do have something important to share with you all. Incredibly important, but I fear our new companion might.
Oh.
It's not for his ears,
You
let's say
said
that.
private, right? All right. Now grab us.
Sorry, out of who are you referring to?
Oh, Mickey. Mikey, sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. He's not in earshot.
Yeah.
Grab you softly by the arm and pull you back into the bathroom and close the door and snib it behind you, assuming there's locks on the bathroom doors. And then I'm like, well, private's private. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, I think Brick and Michaela should probably be involved in this.
I thought you said you want to talk to me privately first and then everyone.
Yes, about the Mikey situation. About the Mikey
Oh,
situation.
okay. What do you want to know?
Do you trust him?
Not at all.
Yeah, cool. Neither
Is
do
that
I.
it?
But yeah, that's it.
Yes, but you don't trust someone the day you meet them, do you? You got to build that up. I'm giving the kid an opportunity. Well, you don't have to tell him shite. The kid's, he's not coming to the meeting. He's going to run around this little penthouse.
Yes.
And if shit goes to, well, shit, we'll just pin it on him.
Perhaps it is best if everyone knows.
What?
Not Mikey. Let's proceed to our destination.
What are you talking about?
It's fine.
Is
It's
this
fine.
about your damn magic, is it?
A little bit.
I know you've got it. I'm not stupid.
That doesn't matter. There's more important things to talk about right now.
All right, so why are you going to tell a child and a servant about him?
You'll find out.
Be careful. People can respond in very strange ways to secrets.
I've got it under control.
All right, if you think so. My experience is sometimes more dangerous than you'd think. And then I open the door, and we head out.
Cool.
The night is bustling outside.
We head out to the private meeting with Brick and Medela and us, right? We're not going out to the thing.
Oh, I thought you were heading out to the thing.
To the
We'll go
private
there
chat with
first.
these guys.
All right, private chat with these guys. You head out of the room
Yeah.
Yes.
and get Brick and Medela. All right, cool.
Okay.
Medela's standing where you left her, sort of looking out the window. Brick, do you emerge from the room?
Yeah, I emerge from the room satisfied of its security.
Cool.
Maybe, should you send your friend on maybe like an errand or something?
Tell you what, I saw a pub on the way to where we gotta go. We could slip in there, have a real quick pint, and have a chat without. Look, I'm not gonna say that. Oh shite! I already said too much. Let me say, I wouldn't be surprised if rich people had ears in the walls, if you know what I mean.
I suppose.
This place might not be private as much as you think it is. And I tap the wall. I'm like, thick wall means crawl space.
I trust your judgment. Wherever you think is suitable.
All right, let's go.
You head out to a
Random
nearby
tavern on
town?
the way to where
Cool.
we're going. Slip in, find
Off
a
you
quiet
go.
corner, get a beer.
Cool.
And tell Mikey to mind.
Oh yeah, I'd already told him he's staying there.
Yeah.
He's running
Yeah,
around.
cool.
with
So
the
the
pub.
four of you, yeah.
Yep.
Delvin, Catalina, Brick, and Medela. Who looks a little perplexed, but you're all headed out, nice and freshly dressed, ready for a meeting in about 15 minutes. But there is a very nice pub. It's quaint by noble standards. The casual place. And you step in and there's an available table where you can sit down and have a pint.
Can I make a perception check to see if I feel like we're being followed?
You can.
Just in general, are we getting any weird vibes by the fact that
6 successes, all dice. That's a maximum. That's 6 out of 6.
you see into the future?
You will be ragged out and ratted
Like-
out.
All right. I will use our messaging system.
Okay.
All right, proceed.
So,
So you go to the local.
I want to find if there's a table, I do want it to be quite private. Like if it's one of the to the side where it's kind of built into the wall maybe, and like a booth is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you
Yeah, cool.
find a
Yeah,
booth.
great,
yeah,
great.
and it's bustling enough that
They're not going to,
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Do I get any vibes that people are reacting to me in any way? Because I'm not a common sight, right?
that is a very good question. In this noble area, you've seen a few things that the whole party has not seen commonly yet. A few Phelan emissaries seem to pass by. They are getting similar sort of attention as you are, although a Phelan call is more uncommon. You're actually less reacted to than you have been in more sort of small town vibes places. I think a lot of these people are a little bit more well traveled, and especially regarding the finer things and trade, you're feeling a little less watched, which is probably a relief at this point. There's less obvious racists. Let's put it that way.
Like that.
Yeah. So you've got a booth.
They're still racist. It's just less obvious.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. My friends, a lot has happened in the past couple of days. I have not been able to find words or thoughts to any of this.
I haven't received a message. If you're sending them to the wrong person.
Oh, I have a message.
Don't read
I'm
it.
kidding,
Okay.
okay.
Discord.
Oh, you're not using our secret
No,
message?
I didn't work. Didn't work. I'll have to get it working later. Anyway.
That's fine.
Yeah, sorry. Go.
A lot has happened, and it's something I must discuss with you all. As some of you are aware, it's more than I'd perhaps like. I have found that I am in possible possession of the thing that we're somehow seeking, I guess. Does that make sense?
What are we seeking? I thought I was being transported. Isn't that the whole
Of course.
point?
Of course. And that still remains our goal, but a couple of factors have happened that we weren't anticipating, and this needs to be made aware to everyone. I pull out all the papers that my mum has sent me, the letters, and I explain.
Can I have made sure that this is an exceedingly private area to be having this conversation?
Based on your role,
The 6
you're
perception
confident
check.
that
Yeah, okay.
you're in a
This is a
private
private
conversation. Yeah.
Catalina trusted that you would found something.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that was
Yeah, yeah.
clear to the
Yeah,
DM
yeah.
that was my intent.
I pull out the papers my mother has sent me, and I say that they are deceptive in their writings. Is it written in Phoenician? Or is it
Yeah.
written in
It's written in Phoenician.
Okay, so I'll translate all of them, which you guys are probably aware of what they say. And I say that she's in Bartel Keep. I am not sure if we should meet her or not. I feel like I should, but
Well, forgive me if I'm wrong, but didn't you say the last one sounded like she might be in some kind of danger?
yes, but to put everything at risk.
We're not putting anything at risk. Our job's done. Maybe tonight. Medela, sweet as she is, she's going to be with her family. And we're going to be free agents. I'm happy to help you with this one, Kat.
Medela's eyes are gazing distantly as Brick becomes aware that she's actually wrapped around his arm softly.
There is more. Before, when we were in Felbrook, a voice spoke to me. Again, I pull out that piece of paper of the theory, the prophecy that got said to me.
This is a lot. You've been harboring this the whole time?
Yes, I have.
How can you carry such intensity alone? You Phoenicians carry many things in your heads.
There's a lot more other stuff in my past that I'm hiding. Well, not hiding, but remains concealed. It's not important, but it is why now I need to share this with you guys. This is all cryptic, and I'm not 100% sure on what the meaning is, but I could just be crazy, honestly. I don't know. Things are happening, and it's all connected, but I can't find the threads. I can't do it alone.
So you lay out the prophecy to the party as you noted it down. And you could probably copy that to a group chat that everyone can know what you noted
Perceive.
down. Yep.
Yep.
And then everyone can sort of share that and decipher that as their characters would.
Yep. And one last thing. The town we were in before, you, Delvin, you saw me get taken away. Yet you haven't asked me why or what happened.
Did I say it again? Oh, I did.
You did.
I did. Well, I kind of assumed the fact you got back meant that they had nothing on you. And I kind of assumed that your private business was your private business.
Yes, I suppose you're right, but this isn't something I can keep private, especially with everything else I have shared with you tonight.
So, what is it?
There is a woman. Her name is Melba.
Oh, Melba. All right, go on.
I remember the name as well. She is aware of my abilities, and she proclaims that she is with the King of Flames outright, but there's something hidden in there that she's not. But I don't trust her. I don't think I can trust her. I asked her to see if she could show me her loyalty or some sort of sign that I could, but
Just to, because I did rewatch the thing recently.
Yeah.
She was fairly explicit that
Yeah,
she's not with the King of Flames.
Yeah, I know,
So she,
I know.
yeah, okay. So you don't believe her. You believe she is with the King of Flames.
I believe she's doing a double deception.
Okay.
So, okay.
All right.
All right. We can cross that when it comes to it. For now, she let you loose. Which means one of two things in my experience. It means she's got you by the balls and she'll have you doing whatever she wants you to do. Or it means she's true to her word. And For the time being, your actions align with her goals.
We should probably make haste to our next meeting.
I want to know what Brick thinks. You've got an opinion, mate.
What did you mean by abilities?
Well, I can't really explain it, but
She can lift a rock and make it float.
no, I can't.
I felt it. Medela whispers.
The rock.
That wasn't. No. No.
She looks at Catalina and says, "Show him."
Can I lift a rock? Have I done
No.
I'm such a good liar.
Your abilities. Your magical
Okay.
abilities.
Brick, I want you to recall a memory. Don't tell me what it is, but a really strong memory that you have.
I've got it. What did you feel like when you saw Medela smile that day she was fishing? And upon me saying that, I'm hoping
Yeah.
you immediately trigger
Read emotions. Go for it. You got 2 dice. You read his emotions. You have all of your mana.
What was my emotion?
That's up to you.
Yeah, that is up to you.
That is up to you. What buried deep?
Well, she can read it. I want to hear her guess.
Yes,
No,
you have to tell her exactly what Brick was feeling deep inside his heart, which is there.
It would be a true emotion.
It was a true. What was Brick's true
No
emotion?
amount of
Now
conditioning
you don't
would
necessarily
stop
have to
this.
say it, but you have to tell Jen what Brick was feeling.
Satisfaction and pride.
And you feel that
So kind of close my eyes.
shaped within the grasp of your energy and hands. What do you want to do with it?
I say to Brick, I can sense it. This feeling of pride, and it's a wonderful feeling. But I'm going to do something. I'm going to shift it.
Do it.
And
Go on.
I'm going to shift it to...
Make it more emotional, please.
Yeah.
Not less.
Make this big boy
Crack
cry.
him. Crack the conditioning. This is your chance.
Oh, no, I've got it. Yep.
What are you doing?
I'm going to shift the emotion to sadness because you know that you're going to have to leave her. And that makes you incredibly sad.
Does it?
Yep.
Well, she's
it
making
fucking
you
will.
make you feel sad. She's forcing it upon you, whether you would or
Challenge.
Hey!
I was gonna say you had to say what you would have gone for first, but I would have suggested because you're choosing if you're.
She's shifting emotion from satisfaction.
Okay, no, that's fair. You told me what you're going to shift it to. I would have assigned a challenge level, and I was going to
Oh,
say,
sorry.
no, that's all right. I was going to say 2, but you got 2. Like I literally had 2 on the tip of my tongue, simply because you're shifting what the direction the emotion is from pride
Yep.
and joy to a sadness, but also
Cool.
you want it to swell, and
Yes, yes.
you mold this emotion into that place, this bittersweet feeling of potential loss and heartbreak awaiting, and then you intensify this, and Brick feels this swelling within his chest and is painfully aware of Medela on his arm, and that this might be the very last night Medela is holding onto his arm. And you're also painfully aware that not only is this the only time in your life that you have experienced this and it's become normal, but it might be the last.
This is the only time a GM will tell a player how they're feeling.
Yeah.
Because magic is making it happen.
Tell me about Brick's experience, because this happened to you.
Yeah. For the first time in Brick's life, right, he's been serving someone that sees him as almost something other than a piece of property. Like there's a relationship that's formed more so than master and servant, right? It's protector, but like it's protector outside of what he's used to. Yeah, it's like semi-paternal. Yeah?
Yeah.
In the way it's transpired. And, yeah, she treats him like an actual person rather than a piece of property. And the premise of going back to the coldness or the unfamiliarness of a new owner, or even to Delvin, who is quick-talking yet deceptive. There's that apprehension because Medela's got the innocence and the honesty and the truth within her young self. Or likewise with Catalina, who has just been concealing this wealth of information from, everyone. Like, those are the prospects that Brick has ahead of him right now. So I guess the option of losing that first kind of real, genuine connection with someone other than someone like him, yeah, he's at the point of losing that. Yeah. So that's what wells up.
How does he react? Sitting at the table in the corner of this bustling in the world away and around them. Swelling with emotions he can't control.
I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to gently squeeze her hands back as she's like holding on to me. I'm not going to cry because he's got glasses and they'd fill up.
It would be impractical. Yeah, she squeezes tighter. She's holding around your arm.
Yeah.
And she's just sort of looking down and off into the distance. Did she show you?
Yes, little one.
Forgive me, Brick. I apologize if that was too far. I wasn't sure if there was a heart underneath that exterior, but there sure is one.
You're all verging on late for your dinner.
Well, I'm glad that you guys have shared an extremely sentimental moment across the table. I can see in your eyes, and at least in Kat's eyes reflected in your goggles, that something magical has happened this evening. But we are late for our dinner.
Yes. Yes, we are.
So, did you want a conclusion to your situation?
Let us enjoy a night of feasting and among friends. It can wait.
Medela, I guess I gotta say something to you, kid. Before we're in the earshot of others.
She looks over. You can see her eyes are pretty moist from what's been going on.
Not all goodbyes are final. And sometimes you get to see people again. You get to see people often. And sometimes you'll meet new and fantastic people. And life will take you in all kinds of directions. But remember the good things. And if you're true to your word and Brick comes with us, I think I have a feeling that in his heart, he'll always be out there to protect you. And if you ever need him again, or us, you can... I hear the messengers are good in Geldervale. You can find us.
She nods. It doesn't seem like... She doesn't look convinced.
Yeah.
But she nods.
Wait. Let me magically convince you.
Very funny, Baron.
No, I almost farted. All right, let's go. And I sink the bottom half of the pint and stand up to go.
I gather everything back up and shove it back into my bag.
You do. The night is bustling, and with that eerie feeling of having left an almost too personal and sacred moment in a very busy place, you walk out into a thriving night as more and more people seem to be arriving for these festivities that will be happening a week from now. You make your way to where you were instructed that Ainsley's Manor is, which is one atop many others high in the towers of this noble estate. And up in the several dozenth floor is a multi-tiered building. You'd had to go on the inside of this, like this is a large tower with multiple houses sort of built out and around the outside. And you work your way up this communal staircase in the center built of, imported marble. And you make your way up a very long flight of stairs, all the way up to the, 15th, 16th floor. You arrive, there is someone at the door, sort of bit of a powdered wig and a bit of a makeup thing going on. And the Phoenician Catalina, yourself, yes.
Yes.
Delvin Barwin, Brick, the Phalancool, as I'm told, and young Medela. There she is. Wonderful to have you have all brought her to us. Thank you so much. You're a little bit late, but dinner is ready and the table is set. So please make your way inside. Ainsley awaits. And he opens the door. You thought your hotel room was grand. This building be poppin'. It's real fancy. Gold, Phelan gold adorns some of the portraits and outside the walls. In fact, the first thing you notice, Catalina, is the art. This is a man of fine taste and access. Here's some of the more well-known Phoenician paintings that you've heard of or seen even in much more protected places and states that had apparently made their way to him and his collection. Cool. So this is someone who is at the top of his trading game and he knows what is trading and it's art among other things. One of the first things you notice, Brick, are two Phalancool soldiers. There are a good dozen or so people scurrying about, but there are two soldiers standing in the entryway of the grand doorway that leads to the banquet room. The table is set with a feast, the likes of which Delvin has never even dreamt of before. And the Phalancool are dressed in traditional Phalancool garbs, standing there like statues, pretty identical weapons to your own, but much more ornate. They look higher ranking and more from a wealthier family.
Do I recognize them?
You don't. But you recognize their garbs, and they were sort of, royalty guards. Yep. So you know that they are well above your station. They don't acknowledge anyone. They just stand there like statues. It's a male and female, which is why I sort of before when we were streaming, you asked about a female Phalancool. I'm like, funny you should mention. In the room, there are multiple people, one of which approaches Medela and gets down on her knees. And she's got, in fact, I can show you because I've got some portraits.
Ooh,
yay. Hang on, you ready?
Love new art.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm sorry, I know we're running over time, but I was really keen with this.
I'm so sorry.
I feel like it's
fine. All right, hang on, bloody. There we go.
Ooh.
Yeah. So she gets down on one knee and says, "Oh, hello there. You must be young Medela. My name's Elise, and I'll be your escort on the way to the city when your family arrives here in a few days. How are you doing? How has your travel been?" And she sort of looks up at you all as well as she asks the question. And Medela's like, "It has been fine." She sort of like shyly steps back. She looks up and is like, "I trust you've been traveling well then?"
My name's Well-Traveling Delvin.
Well-Traveling Delvin.
My name's Delvin. I've been traveling well. Oh, God. Is there a drink anywhere?
There are many drinks over there. And she shakes her head over in that direction. And you see a very well-equipped drink station of drinks you probably shouldn't down quickly because they're meant to be enjoyed, but there's enough of them and this is a well enough off place that you could probably do shots and no one would care.
Cool. I'm going to go and get a drink from some kind of servant or pour it myself if I have to.
You do. And at the head of the table, and there are multiple people, including the gentleman you met previously. And let me bring up my notes, but hide my thank you. Okay, thanks, Rob. Rob's got it. I'll bring the backdrop, cool portrait that I commissioned. All right, thanks, Alicia. Yay. And then at the head of the table, we meet Ainsley.
Nice.
With a robust and joyful, cheerful welcoming. Ainsley, looking slightly sweaty like he's just left the shower for some reason, in a robe of gorgeous, like, interesting, like, silks and furs that looks incredibly well imported and, like, really rare. Fingers covered in rings and covered in jewels. All of a sudden, Ainsley's eyes flicker quickly with some recognition as you've all entered the room and you see the feast in front of you, and his eyes meet Brick's, and Brick's meet his. I'm going to roll a destiny dice. This destiny roll will count for how much Brick remembers Ainsley. 7. Damn. Okay. Now, you recognize this man. Mm-hmm. You recognize him as a trader who frequented the Felton trading camp. You were the guard, or one of the dozen or so, who was tasked with protecting a man who was a trader in that camp, whose wife was a politician and trades. And moves a lot between IRONSPIRE and the Phelan trading camp. And in the bouts in which she was gone, a relationship was budding and building between Ainsley and the one you were tasked to protect. So while you don't have a lot of direct knowledge or association with this person, you do recognize him as someone who was having an affair with the head of the family you were protecting.
Mm-hmm. Were they also having an affair?
Were who?
The family that he was protecting, like, was it a married couple that he
was? It was a married couple.
So it was both parties were being unfaithful. No.
The wife was a politician. She'd go off and travel. The husband would be trading with Ainsley to Brick's knowledge, and Brick saw them bond a lot over the art and the culture.
The husband and Ainsley are having an affair.
Had an affair, but he's dead.
Had an affair.
So you recognize him, and he recognizes you. What does Brick feel in that moment? Or do you have any questions about what you might recall just before? Because this is probably like, a weird place to just randomly stop. It'd be good to like...
Does he do anything other than like lock eyes with me?
No, he actually proceeds to sort of like, and you would be aware, having passed the Phelan Cool Guard, that he owns. He recognizes you and knows what you will have been privy to, but also you're a Phelan Cool. So he sort of shakes it off and immediately sort of turns back to the group and invites you all to the feast and is very gracious. And he looks slightly sweatier than he did a moment ago. But yes, I'm looking forward to getting acquainted with all of you. But for the meantime,
do I clock this?
Roll a perception check. You too, Catalina.
Yeah, we're here. We can see shifty eyes, maybe.
Challenge level 4.
I get 4 successes.
You see shifty eyes. You notice a look of recognition between Brick and Ainsley.
Ooh.
Catalina does not.
I'm going to pry into that.
Yeah.
For sure.
You notice he had paused, and you notice Brick register familiarity, which you rarely have seen in Brick in this whole journey. All right, and that's where we're going to have to leave off this episode.
Tonight,
I wish that we had 4-hour episodes. I do not want to stop.
I know.
This is just getting juicy.
That was fun. But you know what? It was even more fun, or at least as fun. Our bloody patrons and our Patreon after party, which is happening right after this, which we do every week. So if you're interested in hanging out and chatting about all the things we experienced in the episodes, come join us and join our Patreons. This Patreon name is sponsored, as it happens, by Raid Shadow Legends.
It hasn't been updated.
No, it hasn't. Oh, no, okay, we need to fix that.
Well, apparently they have changed their name to another joke, and now we just miss it for this episode. But the Dark Fox is
Professor
consistent with the name.
1718.
Tickled.
Raynaya.
I actually get to do some failures.
Earth Angels Tarot.
Angels Tarot.
AJ Macy.
Nick.
And Yell Hair Triss, who is actually that tier of patron now, but it hasn't updated.
Oh, sorry,
Thank
Triss.
you.
Hell
Thanks for
yeah,
pointing that out.
Triss.
Hell yeah.
Hell.
Yell hair.
Yell hair. Every time.
It's getting to that point
That
in the
was a
campaign
session.
where you sort of need to breathe deep. I'm so glad Catalina opened up about all this stuff. We're going to gush about all this in the after
Twitch
party.
and the after party.
Yeah.
But hey, come
not
check out our
forget
Twitch
YouTube.
stream.
Yeah.
That's a great
8:30
idea.
AEST or daylight
It's a
time
bit-
on Tuesday nights.
Go to the Twitch page. It's still there.
Yeah.
I updated it tonight, so it's more accurate. Yay. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.